So what would happen if you took the world-building, first principles thinking of someone like Elon Musk and combined it with the steady, asset-backed logic of Warren Buffett? Today, we're diving into a really fascinating blueprint that claims to do exactly that. It's a system designed to tackle some of our planet's biggest, toughest problems. Let's get into it. I mean, listen to this question. It sounds almost ridiculous, right? Could you really actually solve something as enormous as global hunger with a simple snack bar? Well, that is the wild idea at the very heart of this system we're exploring. It kind of forces you to rethink what a simple purchase can actually do. And this isn't just some vague concept. No, it's a detailed plan for a whole new kind of economic engine. The whole idea is to take two philosophies that seem like polar opposites, one that's all about stable, real-world value and another that's about shooting for the stars, and mash them up to create something brand new. Okay, let's break this down because this is key. On one side, you've got the Warren Buffett approach. Think real stuff, tangible things like farmland that actually produce value. It's patient, it's productive, and it's not about gambling on the market. Then, on the other side, you have the Elon Musk vision, just rebuilding entire systems from the ground up, creating future-proof infrastructure by questioning absolutely everything. This whole ecosystem wants to be the perfect marriage of the two. So, where does a grand machine like this even begin? Well, it all starts with something surprisingly simple, something you can hold in your hand. This is the fuel that gets the whole economic flywheel spinning. Say hello to the Miracle Bar. Now, on the surface, it's a 110-gram, 400-calorie bar. Pretty standard stuff, right? Oats, dates, cacao. But it is so much more than a snack. It's really engineered to be a standardized unit of nutritional security. And here's the kicker. Its core mission is baked right in. Literally, half of every single bar produced goes to feeding the hungry. That's not a charity donation. It's the entire reason the business exists. And here it is. This is the magic number that changes everything. 20%. See, 20% of the revenue from every single bar that's sold doesn't just go to profit. It's automatically siphoned off to power the entire system. And the way it works is this really elegant four-step process. So, you buy a bar. Step 1. Then, 20% of that money gets sent to an AI-managed fund. That fund then goes out and buys productive farmland, which is held in a community trust. And the result of this is, well, it's pretty revolutionary. Your daily snack purchase just got turned into a real, tangible piece of community-owned land. You're not just a customer anymore. You're becoming a co-owner. And this is where that classic Buffett philosophy really clicks into place. It's all about owning real assets that generate real value. That's the bedrock, the foundation of this entire ecosystem. The whole thing is managed by what's called the Barnes QIN REIT, which is basically the system's skeleton. Now, a REIT is just a company that owns property that makes money. But this one's different. It's not playing the market, it's not flipping properties. Its only job is to buy good, productive land, and this is the most important part, actively make it better. So how do you make the land better? The method here is called holistic permaculture. And if you're not familiar, it's basically an approach to farming that copies natural ecosystems to create farmland that's self-sustaining, resilient, and super diverse. The first and most obvious result of doing this is a massive improvement in environmental health. Instead of draining the soil of nutrients, this method actually restores it. It brings back biodiversity and creates land that's healthier and can withstand shocks way better. And that leads to the beautiful financial logic of the whole system. Because you see, healthier, more resilient land isn't just great for the planet, it's also just flat out more valuable. So you end up with this amazing virtuous cycle where healing the environment directly makes the community's main asset worth more. Profit is suddenly tied directly to ecological health. Okay, so if the restored land is the stable, Buffett-style foundation, what do you build on top of it? Well, this is where the Elon Musk-style vision of engineering a better future from scratch really comes into play. And what gets built are these ARQ-18 sanctuary kill zones. The plan calls them the hardware of health. Just think of them as these beautiful ecotourism and wellness destinations built right on that restored land. The whole goal is to engineer modern versions of blue zones, those few spots on Earth where people just naturally live the longest, healthiest lives. So these Q zones, they're designed to be their own little engines. They sit on that appreciating land, they bring in their own revenue from ecotourism, and they become a physical manifestation of the whole ecosystem's values, health, the environment,
and compassion. They're the real-world hubs where this community can actually come together.
Now, as you can imagine, trying to manage a global network of land and food production and community sanctuaries, that's an unbelievably complex job. So to optimize all of it, the system needs a brain, a central nervous system that can operate on a planetary scale. And that brain has a name, GENII, which stands for Generative Intentional Intelligence. This is the AI of the operation. Its job is to look at the entire value chain, from the farm all the way to the family, and use predictive algorithms to find the absolute most efficient and effective path to the best outcome for everybody.
Okay, so how do you make sure an AI this powerful is always acting in our best interest? Well, you govern it with a really simple but really strict ethical framework. Rule number 1, do no harm. Can't break that one. Rule number 2, every single action must actively do good for the community or its assets. And rule number 3, they call it the Aikido protocol, which I think is brilliant. It's basically hard-coded humility. If the AI is ever unsure what to do, it has to stop and ask a human for guidance.
All right, so we've seen all the pieces, the bar, the land, the sanctuaries, and the AI. But what happens when you pour, say, Warren Buffett's spare change into this system? What does it actually look like when you scale it up to a global level? $100 billion. The argument in this blueprint is that with this kind of capital injection, the system could just skip the slow, gradual rollout and become a massive global force, pretty much a planetary-scale operating system for what it calls guilt-free progress. And this is the endgame vision that kind of investment could unlock. We're talking about scaling bar production to a level that could theoretically end global hunger, acquiring productive land on every single continent to back the system, deploying thousands of these sanctuaries all over the world, and through all of it, turning mass consumption into billions upon billions of dollars in community-held assets, basically creating a permanent, self-sustaining habitat for civilization itself.
It's an unbelievably ambitious vision, right? It's trying to blend Buffett's careful financial wisdom with Musk's radical engineering. The whole goal is to totally realign our economic incentives with our collective well-being, and it really just leaves us with one big question to chew on. Could a system that turns what we buy into what we own, could that truly be the operating system for a better, more sustainable future?